Oh, yeah. Spring break, Monday, the sun's out. So's the cold. Chats are open. We're on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Also got two events going. Well, one event going. The old Facebook. Chat in. Let us know what's happening. Chat in. Let us know you're watching, enjoying the day. I know. Everybody's waiting. What's this one about? What's this one about? It's about lies, modern day interrogation, 101, psychology, sociology, and Leo, the law enforcement officer. Yes, the law enforcement officer. As of today, 1,233, that's 85 days, 18,275 views in 85 days. That's not bad for a lot of researchers putting in a lot of work, Let's get started with it. Challenging you. So, challenge your assumption. Challenge your good at listening. Challenge yourself that you're really good at telling yourself you know what's going on. Telling yourself, yeah, I've got the skinny on this. I really know what's happening. We like to believe the truth has a voice, but that's not always so. That's if you're innocent. The innocent voice is the truth. The one that's not the, I don't know, escalator of the dirty deed, the violent, terrible incident, so to say, the dastardly plan. But you can act as if you're innocent too. That's a truthful voice. Yeah, easy to find sometimes. But If you're guilty, people assume you'll crack under pressure. Not always. Not always. It's the psychology, it's the sociology, and it's the skill of the linguistic interpreter, meaning the voice, the kinesic, the physical. Well, what happens when psychology meets sociology and the science and the practitioner skill set of interrogation rub heads with each other? It runs into a complex human bias. Yeah, all of it. So when you hear people say, they're a good interrogator, they're a good investigator, they're good at interview and interrogation. Well, that still remains to be seen. I've seen really good interrogators and really good interviewers just totally drop the ball. Whether you're a pro Leo law enforcement officer or an advanced, so to say, reformative practitioner of interview and interrogation. It's just the fascination of the human mind, the conversation that's happening in the head that you're trying to get into. The most dangerous weapon in any interrogation room, it's not the handcuffs, it's not the gun that the dumb officer left on his side or the badge and didn't decide to normalize themselves before they walked into the room. The most dangerous weapon in the interrogation, not interview, sharing of information, but interrogation, the most dangerous weapon is the downtime, the silence between the words. Yeah, the silence. Why? You didn't catch it. You didn't move quick enough. You didn't intervene on that break of cognitive attrition in the one you're interrogating. Yeah, cognitive attrition. It's either going to fall or be recognized. And once the attrition rate of information being shared is recognized by the one being interrogated, well, you've given them the upper hand if you didn't catch it. Yes, you have. It's kind of like interviewers, detectives, cops that watch other cops ask questions, and they ask the wrong questions at the wrong time and the wrong setting, and the attrition rate happens. And it's the Leo's attrition rate, not the one being interrogated. Oh, no. Anyway, welcome to the show. My name is Mike, Dr. Mike Gurley. That's what people call me in the professional world, but it's spring break. Yes. So let's just normalify it. Let's just use it as Mike. Now, we're going inside the truth. The truth isn't just evulsive. It's engineered. It's created. Now, when I say evulsive, it's not to be confused with elusive. Evulsive in the mind. That means it's damaging. It's destroying the context. Think of evulsive injury. Someone being thrown through the front windshield of a car during that sudden impact with a brick wall. Yeah, evulsive injuries, ripping, tearing of the tissue, bone, all right? Now, we're not technically talking that the brain is, having that happen, ripping, tearing of the brain. It's ripping and tearing the evulsive injury of the story and the elusiveness during the conquering of the evulsive story. Now, the truth has got to be engineered. It's got to be reconstructed. Yeah, not reperformed, but reconstructed. So your cold hook of attention now. Quickly, how do you know if someone is lying? If you said, they fidget, they won't make eye contact, congrats. You've watched FBI shows, criminal investigator shows, forensic TV shows, cold case shows, movies, Hollywood. Yep, you've fell prey to the I really don't know what I'm doing or how I'm going to interpret a single conversation. The liar tells lies. Period. Done. Over. Here's the deal. Decades, movies, TV shows have drilled into your brain that liars move their eyes. Move it. Shift up, left, right. Reasonable side, non-reasonable, artsy-fartsy side. Yeah. Fidget with their hands. Do not make eye contact. Touch their nose. Touch specific parts of their body, their neck. Kind of like a traffic stop. Yeah, a traffic stop. Person gets all fidgety. It's not because they're lying in the moment. It's because they're moving and trying to hide something. Yeah, trying to diminish the scene. Hide it between the seats, so to say. Police academies even use this garbage to teach their brand new officers in the academy. But here's the kicker. All of that physical kinesic and linguistic mixture doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work. It's 2026. sociology, psychology, and human behavior evolve with the time. Yes, it does. Yeah. No one was interviewing people in the United States in the 1940s for internet, computer, peer-to-peer pornography sharing of children. No, things change. The tactics, the techniques. It's kind of like thinking that the bad guy isn't educating themselves the same rate or at the same time or same speed as law enforcement. Now, the title of the show, sociology, psychology. You can't have law enforcement, sociology, and psychology without blending it into a circle because it all lives in the same room. It all lives in the same environment. Just like the most dangerous weapon in the interrogation room. It's not the ninjutsu, Krav Maga, PPCT cop, or the gun, or the badge, or the picture of Jesus, over you as the bad person is looking. I used to have all kind of pictures of Jesus, all kind of color pictures. Just every race of Jesus I could get my hands on. Yep. People said that was a really evulsive, intrusive, made things less evasive too. Police academies teach this stuff. Now, research, real world research, this show, CJTV Academic, we try to stay, 100% academic, but we may get into some, sociological and, psychology stuff here that's, questionable, but we're talking about the questionable bad guy, bad girl that's lying to you. Research shows most people, including cops, Leos, lawyers, and just regular plain people, as Obama would say, regular folks, perform a basically coin flip level. Perform a basically coin flip level. That means cognitive. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? It's questionable. Will it influence the coin flip? Trying to spot that coin flip detection is, trying to spot the coin flip detection is almost impossible. It's not body language. Now, when I say trying to, spot the coin flip detection, the person you're interrogating or asking questions to or trying to get the facts of the story, they're coin flipping. What do they want to tell you? Apologize, I did not turn the phone off, but got stuff being delivered. So they're trying to figure out what to tell you next. What story is going to unevulsate you and put you on the elusive track that they want you to be on, the guided elusive track. So it's a coin flip. They're only going to tell you what they want you to know. The rest you're going to have to discover on your own. And what the academies teach, through the physical linguistics and the kinesics, the simple stuff. We're not talking about the advanced stuff. We're talking about simple. Law Enforcement Academy. It doesn't work. All right. Research has proven that over the past 2 decades. Crap. You're talking a 50-50 chance. You're going to find the truth or you're not. You're going to catch the lie or you're not. Because if you can't catch the lie, the person doing the flip toss has already caught the lie. Now they've evulsated you out of the cognitive pathway that you need to be in. And now the truth is an elusive monster. It's like catching smoke, right? It's elusive now, and they know they've got you because you are asking questions and or guiding the interrogation in the direction that the suspect, the interrogated, wants the interrogation to be guided in. You've given it to them. The science is clear, okay? Physical science, biological, mediological. Period, done. Nervous behavior does not equal lying. Does not equal lying. Anybody know anybody that, talks in front of people or does lectures in a room and they can't stay still? They're out and about walking. Me, I like to walk. I hate standing behind a podium and, death by PowerPoint clicker. I like to walk in the crowd amongst the classroom, pick out the one shopping on eBay on the laptop. You're not going to detect it. You might as well just guess. And if your guessing is based on that flip or that towing cost, you're in just as bad a spot as the one being interrogated. Touching the body, nervous action, nervous tics, that's not an indicator of lying. It's an indicator of stress, but it's not an indicator of lying. All of you know what I'm talking about. Stress. Admitting to something. It's stressful. You know it was bad. You know you shouldn't have did it. Some people fidget. Some people move. Some people shift. Think about something you had to admit to. Was it comfortable? You moved, you shift. Some liars are just cold, man, like ice. Stare you right in the camera and lie straight to your face about how great their YouTube channel is. Perfection, pristine. The non-evulsive channel, like everybody else's evulsive channel, that will send you down the rabbit hole of confusion. Yeah, some people can lie, just straight good at it. This whole reading the body language is bullcrap. It's pretty much a pseudo-science. Yeah, it's made up as police go. It's police work. Police work is not a science. Hate to break the news to you. Cops out there, yeah, man, we've got analysts. We've got this. It's down to a science. Down to, it's all crystal clear, man. We've made it happen, and it's pristine. Had to check my camera, make sure the delivery guy dropped it off and left. Yeah, somebody going to come steal it. Or are they going to lie? But it's not a science, guys. It's not a science. Crowd, ladies and gentlemen. It's made up as the police go. And I'm going to tell you how it's made up as the police go. Not all cops, not all law enforcement officers are educated. Yeah, oh my gosh, that's something that nobody wanted to hear, right? It's made up as they go. So what are you going to do if you're not educated in the crime scene? What are you going to do if you're not educated in the policies and procedures of all agencies on the planet? You're going to make it up as you go. You don't have the experience of that specific type of scene. You don't have the experience of that specific type of person. The personality types, A, B, C, and D. You don't have those people readily available to you to talk and train with every day. So now you're going to have to make it up as you go. The words, the physical body language, the nervous tics. No, that's not always it. The interview and the interrogation. The interview is a sharing of information that leads to the accusatory, the negative, the armament of the Fifth Amendment, or invoke or revoke. I revoke. I'll talk to you. And you'll notice that a lot of people in society that, believe they would have that sociological education or that psychology background or that bearing over you, they're going to revoke that fifth and test the waters. They're going to try that 50-50 coin toss and see how fast law enforcement dresses it up, uses that pseudoscience, makes it up as they go. Now, I'm not talking about make up the law as you go. I'm not talking about make up department policy and procedure as you go. I'm talking about make up the intelligence level of the officer as the officer goes into the interrogation, because not all officers or law enforcement are good at interview and interrogation, picking up something. Anybody noticed anything different or weird? I'm sitting here talking and doing stuff. Some would say nervous tics, some would say fidget, but just giving you some, research knowledge. Yep, all of that was Brennan and Magnuson, Magnussen, Magnussen, 2022. The verbal cues that actually work. Oh my gosh, Becky, the verbal words that actually work. The magic first word of the day is then. Tell me what you did when you woke up to the time you went to work. Well, I woke up and took a shower and fed the dog and ate breakfast and got in my car and went to work. Well, did you get dressed or did you go nude? Wet and nude. A lot of things are missing. It's kind of like the word brown and sugar equals what? Ties to female. Oh my gosh, linguistic carnival school. Tying the words that are used under neuroscience stress. We should have a show on that one day. Because some liars are just good. Words. You can't trust someone's hand or eyes. All right. That's just something simple. You can't trust them. Why? Why do you think law enforcement repeatedly show me your hands? You can't trust them. Empathetic, sympathetic, stop your heart, raise your right hand. You can't mentally stop your heart, but you can cognitively, neuroscience, proton, electron, fire, cerebral cortex, central nervous system, one of the 8 nerves in the brain going to the different body. Boom! Now you've risen your right hand to show hands. So you can't trust the words and you can't trust the physical telltale signs because they can work opposite. Show me your hands. No, I said both hands while the other hand's hiding a knife. Show me your hands. I'm showing a hand, but I'm shifting the other one. Words, events, movements. None of it's equal. It's all a lie. When you analyze people in general, accuracy jumps way down. It doesn't jump up because you're trying to analyze what you think you know, especially in law enforcement. Now, when I say it goes down, the accuracy, the majority of criminal cases that law enforcement officers interview and interrogate on are not repeat offenders. It's not someone they've known for years, kind of like, your brother, your sister, or, siblings, or Uncle Bob that steals the silver forks at Christmas. Bob. You know what's going on with old Bobberoonie. Hide the forks. He's going to steal them. But law enforcement officers do not act that way. Thus, it's a pseudo-science. The pursuit of the moment, the pursuit of the incident. Liars often keep things vague. Yeah. They avoid mentioning other people, other detailed facts that only the victim or the offender would know. Something that you've got to discover on your own. Consistency. Yeah. Avoid mentioning other people who could check their stories. Why do you think law enforcement officers in an interview and even in interrogation ask for what? An alibi. No one's going to give that information away. It's kind of like you shouldn't say, yes, officer, I was watching CJTV on my phone on YouTube while I was driving on the highway at 85. I don't know how this wreck happened. What are you really going to tell them? The body was doing one thing. The mind is doing another, even though the mind knows it's wrong. But you are still going to watch CJTV on the highway driving at 85, and wham, bam, you're in a wreck. Law enforcement's going to get something different. Why? You don't want to bust it down, and you don't want to give the real information as to what you were doing or what you were involved in. But you sure can't bring up another name that was watching the YouTube live feed with you and was chatting with you. Yep, they knew I was there. I was chatting away. I was busy. That's a mental deflector. Yeah. It's not a physical dissociation. You were in the car. It's a mental deflector where your mind was. People are only going to tell you what they want you to know. Yeah. The stories get less consistent if you're given information about person, place, and time. Thus the key word of then. Yeah. And then I fed the dog. And then I walked her to the door and hugged her goodnight, and that was it. Sure, serial rapist. The best part of an interrogation. You can learn to listen for this stuff. It's not magic. The pattern recognition, the pattern. So let's get into the simple I fooled you patterns, so to say. Even though the pros get fooled. Yeah, the pros get fooled all the day. Think about judges, police detectives, the customs officer. Yeah. All must be amazing at this job, right? No. That's the reason so many people walk out and get away with crime. So many people are released during the interview and interrogation, and then the law enforcement has to go hunt them down again. It's kind of like the, I don't know, who's the CNN reporter? Lemon? Even after the appeal, where you had enough probable cause then. Why are you seeking an indictment? But, yeah. Yeah. Now you're out. Let's not mention any names. Let's not give any detail. Studies asking. All right, let's get to a research question. Studies asking experts to rate their own skills found massive overconfidence. When actually tested, they barely beat the chance of zero, meaning they gained no information of the blind side information that they were trying to get. What I mean by this is law enforcement, the ones that were, self-claiming they're really good at it, were given a fictitious crime. And a partner, a detective partner, another partner, was given the same thing, but with the true detail that needed to be gained. And you'd be amazed how many failed while their partner watched the failure. Yeah, the study experienced experienced investigators watched their interviews and watched how the investigators spotted lies. They were wrong almost 72% of the time. And this study comes from Fisher and Lee, 2022, and Gragg, Hag, and Casson, 2023. So If you want the information, shoot me an email, Dr. Mike Lee G. I'll send it to you. Now, why do these studies matter to where law enforcement watch law enforcement pick up and get triggered on false cues linguistically, false kinesic movements? Because it's a distraction and it enables that one being interrogated to flip the coin, evulsate the whole interview and interrogation as the interview blends into interrogation, and shift the direction of law enforcement to another direction or another point in time in the scene, to where law enforcement is going to be evasive about returning to asking specific person, time, location, corroboration. Yeah, sell this damn trick in a book for a liar. All I have to do is convince you that I'm innocent. No one saw me do it. I was all alone. Yep. Walked her to the door. Yep. Check that video camera, man. Yeah. But the bad guy or the bad girl knows the video camera is a fakie, or the video camera was disabled prior to dropping the Friday night sweetheart off at the door. It's just one of those things, man. One of those things you got to deal with. I'm going to take this down. Yep, the researchers are on the loose and on the hook for spring break, so this is all moi. This is all me. But they're coming up with a new one for Wednesday. Get ready. Let's get back to interrogation. So I was going to talk about the Reid Technique, but I don't want to talk too detailed into it. Those that are law enforcement, those that have ever heard about the Reid Technique, know it's just it's a gotcha technique. That's really all I can say positive about it whatsoever. I mean, I've been to the Reid schools. I just, everybody talked about how great they were. It's a confrontational, so to say. It's like trying to create a mind-blowing pivot in the one you're interrogating. It's not that damn good. It's the gotcha. It's the attempt at lie spotting through confrontation, aggression, and that doesn't work, man. It's 2026. Society's evolved. Society's grown. Society's not scared of the fist-banging cop on the table anymore. Hollywood and the movies have done that for you. Yeah. So congratulations, law enforcement. Hollywood and the movies have shifted that respect for that violent confrontation in the interview and interrogation room away from you. You're just not successful at it anymore. It's not working. Yeah. Lie spotting through confrontation and aggression. All you're doing is pissing everyone off. And when somebody is dopamine, endorphin, adrenaline, right? Frontal lobe, amygdala, the evulsive of the chemical. Yeah, the evulsive inside the brain shifting. Now the response rate is elevated, and the gotcha principle is easy to shift away from. Yeah, I'm not going to set you up for catching me in a lie. No. Have you ever caught someone lying? How did you know they were lying? Just one of those things. Eye contact, physical, read, aggression, pinpoint, accusatory, all at the same time. That crap does not work, people. It doesn't. Stop watching the TV. It doesn't work. It's garbage. Garbage. All right, let's talk about deadly errors. Yes, anybody in the world of sociology, psychology, and I'm checking the streams and the chats. Chats are open. Good to go. Put in a good law enforcement TV show. Something cool. Something that has like really good, interesting interrogation. That also include, quite possibly, these 3 deadly errors that ruin lives forever. Yes, the investigator's life, the one doing the interrogation, not the interrogatee. I know it's heavy, it's critical, but law enforcement officers destroy their careers. Number 1, well, let me correct this. Destroy their careers as investigators, and I'm a good, really good interview and interrogator. No, you're not. You're not a good interrogator. The first one, misclassification area. Misclassification error in the area of interpreting the linguistic words and kinesic physical response at the same time. Misclassification. Yeah, caused on body language. Something we just talked about. Someone shifting their knee, So what? You may have a crappy chair in the interview and interrogation room, moving around, trying to get comfortable. Because what? It's stressful. It's not comfortable. Trying to find that comfortable seat. They're not thinking about lying to you. They're trying to get that comfortable position so that they can lie to you. Even better than they were lying to you when their butt bone was in the back of the seat, on the part of the seat to where the padding is pressed away and it's just metal. Something as simple as that. Comfort. The body language. Have you ever thought of that? How many of you have cars? Older cars with crappy seats, and you would give every nut out of Bucky's stop and little Bucky nut sweet bag just for a new chair in your car, something that you could ride comfortable in. Same thing with an interview and interrogation. The misclassification of the kinesic body movement, the tie of the linguistic value to the kinesic wording of choice and body response. Oh, I feel bad. Shoulders down, head slumped. Move in for the kill, George. No, that shit doesn't work anymore. Never worked in the first place. Why? Law enforcement forever, just like science, just like scientists, just like, yeah, I'm a scientist in a lab with chemicals, and I'm a botanist. I make bombs, or I work neurofusion, and yeah, psychology's a bunk science. I say, not a real science. You hear that all the time, sociology. But if law enforcement was so good, how come law enforcement hasn't figured out how to sociologically and psychologically interpret everything that a human does in response to an interrogation? It's the misclassification error due to garbage courses and garbage principles that have been taught in the past decades that have not been reviewed or restructured. Now, some would think that the global war on terror taught us all kinds of stuff. It didn't teach you crap. It taught terrorists how to lie even better. It taught terrorists how to become more intelligent, how to do more research, how to evade, how to create misclassification. Yeah, the coercion error. Misclassification, and now you're giving the one being interrogated a reason to destroy your coercion. Yeah, you're trying to bump it out of them. You're trying to Reid Technique it. Aggressive. Not too aggressive. Because the interrogate-e recognizes the coercion, the stress, the push. And you're doing it as the investigator, the one performing the interrogation. Why? Because you're stressed out. The interrogate-e is picking up on your linguistic verbal cues. Not that it's an interrogation tool, but the suspect, interrogate-e, knows you're off point. You're off the road. You're not even in your own lane. You're in another lane from somewhere else that has nothing to do with the real mens rea or actus rea of this crime that you're investigating and trying to interrogate me for. Yeah, the coercion error. Hours of pressure. God. Promises of leniency. I'm going to bring the paper and the legislative law. Look, this is what it says. I will go to the DA for a good word for you, man. And then it doesn't work. Why? It's been on the TV forever. How many times you seen it on a movie? How many times have you seen the brain literally change under stress? Because why? You're offering something as the Leo with supposed psychological training and sociological training. You're offering something that you know the interrogate-e does not believe you on. You're the one trying to get the information to charge them with the crime and have them indicted and have them go before a judge, magistrate, gatekeeper, in a superior court, circuit, judicial, whatever the court, higher felony, capital crime is. I said capital. Felony, higher crimes, capital misdemeanor. You're trying to get them to set themselves up to destroy their own life. They recognize the coercion. Don't be surprised if it's a coercion technique given right back to shift you away from the true path of the investigation. Put you somewhere else. Those sugary words. Believe, feel, think. Oh, I think they did it. Why do you think? because I believe they're this, that, and that. And the cops fall for that crap so fast. The third contamination error. Yes, the problem. Police feed details of the crime. Yeah. Police feed details of the crime. You might as well play charades. Get a whiteboard with a dry erase magic marker and pictogram it out. I think there's a game. What is that game called? Pictionary? Picture something? Yeah. Something like that. The police give the information out, not even knowing it. Do you know why you're here today? Great. Now the interrogatee knows the cop is a dumbass. Do you know why you're here today? Why? Because it's not direct. There's no introduction. There's no communication. There's no, this is me. I recognize you. I know you. I had you picked up. I asked you to come here willingly based on this case. Period. Do you know why? Yeah, you've just coercioned yourself to allow me to coercion you into being a bigger dumbass and avoid all confessions. Law enforcement feeds the details. I'm going to give you an example here. The confession, the details. When one asks about specific whereabouts, never give a damn date or a time. Never, ever. Why? Because these stupid things are tracked with date and time. People in society have these stupid things, these phones. They track everything by date and time. Reminders, where they're at, what episode. Heck, you could get on YouTube and see the date and time you watch this. Leave the date and time out. Because now you're feeding the information specifically to the one being interrogated, what you want them to say about a specific date and time, where they were, who they were with, what they said, what they saw, what they witnessed, who they victimized. It's pretty simple. Shift it. Move it. You've given it to them. You've given them what you're looking for because you've given the date and time. That's the number one mistake. The hard problem with this. What if it's a suspect that we didn't locate for 2 or 3 weeks later? Bring a calendar in, dum-dum. Remember that Pictionary, dry erase board, and a marker? Draw a calendar. Here's today. Here's the day the crime. Where were you here? Make that one being interrogated think. Now, I know it's stressful. It's evulsive. But it's showing that the interrogator recognizes the interrogatee, that the interrogator understands critically clear that the interrogatee can construct anything. Right there in the moment. How do you think terrorists, real ones, are interviewed? Oh my gosh. This guy knows a little something, right? Real terrorist. Yes. We're not talking about your, local angry people in your neighborhood, your hate crimes. Yeah, the confession. Do not include details. Let the interrogatee give you the details that are common details. When you give the interrogatee common details, which is where law enforcement fails, you're setting the table of success up for the bad interrogatee. Yeah, the criminal, you're setting that success up. Yeah, coercion, misclassification, and the contamination error, giving the evidence away, giving it away. Yeah, man, we're talking to you because we're investigating a rape. Great, you've given it to them. You've given them right up front what they need to avoid at all costs. Anything and everything that would affiliate or associate linguistically time, date, action. Anything that would give law enforcement the means or ability to coerce the interrogatee into a confession or placing themselves where they don't need to be in the past during a rape. You're giving it to him, law enforcement. Stop giving the freaking information away. Don't even tell them what the damn case is about. You're like, well, how do we do this, Mike? How do we shift this? Why would you say the word rape? You're investigating a felony crime. You're investigating an assault. You're like, it's not an assault, Mike, it's rape. Were hands placed on another body? Was the person detained, held somewhere, restricted against their will? Yeah, it's a linguistically choose. And then I went to work. Well, what did you do between breakfast and work? Then I went to work. How did you get to work? Did you fly? You Supergirl? Stop giving the information away. Who's most at risk for this? Kids. Yes, kids. Kids are sharper than adults. Kids are sharper. We're not going to talk about kids today because that's a really deep subject. But we will talk about adults. Yeah, the common sense. The idea that common sense, makes people, or the lack of common sense makes people confess is 100% wrong. It's a failure. It's law enforcement's failure. Law enforcement practices low common sense when someone does not confess and is exhibiting low common sense. It's the way it is. Vulnerable populations. Here's how. Law enforcement sometimes are told you need to regress yourself down to the level of the people you're talking to. No. Bad. Why do you think sociologically the view of police is that of minuscule in society? You've reduced yourself down during those times of need, during those times of the need for law enforcement accelerationism. Excel, the brain, knowing how to interrogate correctly and get away from banging the table, words, loud, trickery, buffoonery. Yeah, you've just given it to society. The compliance, psychologically, and the breaking of the brain. Why does anyone confess falsely? Now, we got to cover this too, because it's interrogation. You want to get the real meat, right? You want to get the real case. You want to get the real closure to everything. The two big reasons: compliance and internalization. Compliance and internalization. You know you're innocent, but you've calculated that confessing to the crime gets you home. Yeah, get you out of there. It's kind of like the cop that gave the date and the time. Law enforcement has a responsibility called proving innocence, exoneration. So law enforcement that gives the date and the time and gives minute details away, you're aiding in compliance. Well, I don't want to tell you all this because I want to get home. Yeah. And it slows the case down. Really, that doesn't happen. Yeah, it does. I've seen it with my own two eyes. Historical venue. Not just on regular cases, but death cases where there was a real murder with intent to. Yep, seen it several times. Law enforcement gives it away and creates a compliance. Not always is it a compliance of, I'm the murderer. It's a compliance of where you were, what you were doing, and what information you have, and your affiliation to the murderer. And then it, infects the case. Yeah, shifts the case somewhere it doesn't need to go. The scarier and the weirder, the internalization of it. It's scared. The pressure. Confession. You actually believe you did something, didn't you, bad guy? Yeah, memory's fragile, people. Memory's fragile. Look yourself in the mirror and tell me what you did this day last month. Yeah, this date, the 23rd of last month. Well, you're going to have to do some research, right? You're going to have to dig around. You're going to have to think. But if I give you a specific time of day that's routine, well, you can make something up and then give it to me. And what choice do I have but to believe you? Law enforcement's failure. No, there are probably some cops out there, some secret FB, squirrel, CID, whatever, alphabetic soup people say, this guy's full of crap. Oh, send me an email. Let's have a mock I&I session and watch me slaughter you with everything I'm talking about. And then we'll have other cops watch it and laugh. Just is what it is. Yep. Picture 2 rooms. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to close this out. I know it's Monday. Spring break, baby. I want to get back to doing my stuff. I got some gates I got to put up. Yeah, been waiting for concrete. That's what was being dropped off at the start of the show. Picture 2 rooms in one. This is a story I wrote. A detective leans across the table. We know you did it. Don't make this worse. And the other, help me understand what happened that night. 2 rooms. One detective aggressive. The other detective wanting the help from the interrogatee. Smart. Giving everything to the interrogatee. Not taking it. Damned be the Reid. Damned be the pass. Damned be the past drama and the data. Help me. You're going to get more truth out of the help me. Everybody should know this. It's not rocket science. Why is it so hard for society to pick this up? Because the majority of investigators are old school Reid, accusatory drama, hardcore, get in there, the Barron and Shook principle. I want the truth. You shall give it to me. Confession is what we desire. I don't need a damn confession. Don't need it. You can indict Mickey Mouse. You can indict a ham sandwich. Yeah. Use all those techniques. Because if I'm the interrogatee or the bad guy, I'm smart enough to know how to counsel my attorney to push toward coercion. If I'm smart. Now, somebody said this guy shouldn't be saying this. Now you're teaching the bad people. They already know it. Confrontational, accusatorial. It's psychological manipulation, period. That's all it is. Psychological manipulation can happen to the police too, by the way. It's not just the police too. Society. You don't think that there's a couple of YouTube shows about the Reid Technique, about the pass, the European, the British system? Oh, God. Let's close it out with training in law enforcement. Kind of like the Fit or Fat show. Can you do the job? Should you go somewhere else? Man, I got a few emails from some pissed off people. I didn't get any from chiefs or sheriffs, by the way. I was shocked. I got some irritating emails from some cops. That happened to me. Well, should have got a gym membership. All right, the training in I&I, especially interrogation. The training gap. Yeah, that's huge. It's wild. While most police officers get between 0 and 8 hours of interview training total in their career, unless they're in investigations. And we're not talking about large cities with large budgets that send people to schools everywhere. We're talking about just most common law enforcement agencies. Their entire career, less than a full hit of 8 hours. And like, well, I went to a class that was 5 days. Yeah, but you weren't in the damn classroom for a straight 8 hours. All right. We're talking consecutive. No, I went to class for an hour and then no break. 8 hours your entire career, let alone go through your state certified investigator program or anything of that nature or magnitude. You can compare that to a barista learning how to make coffee. Yeah, you can. Or a hairstylist learning how to, manipulate a new hairstyle or to recertify for licensing hours or credits in the state. And that is research-driven, people, and I will help you out. Volano, Compo. I'm not going to try to pronounce this. I will. Tielgen, Tielgen, whatever country that's from. Shade and Nijishk. That was 2020, 2022, and 2023 research globally, including the United States. Less than 8 hours. Now, one could say that would be less than 8 hours a year, less than 8 hours within that required law enforcement, yearly training. Some states 40, some states 30, but less than 8 hours for their primary function. It's to gain information and gain the truth. It's not good. It's horrible. That means cognitively and intellectually, sociologically, and psychology realms of it, the officers are failing. We'd ask people to extract their whole life or death information based on what we know. It's kind of like asking, how are you going to die? Giving your past life information, it's a reconstruction. It's not a reenactment. It's a reconstruction. You can't reenact what you did in the past because you're not Superman and you didn't fly in the past. So now the interviewee is filling the void, filling the gap, filling the evulsative slots, the parts that have been episodic memory closed, putting the information there they want you to have. Hippocampus, the jaw, the limbic system, trauma. It's a shaky moment. It's intense. It's threatening. All that Reid banging on the table and all that raising that voice and all of that. Reduce yourself down to their level. No. You help me. Period. You help me. The rest, you're going to have to figure it out as you move. Interrogation 101, sociological, psychology, Leo, law enforcement. The cycle of life is in the past, people. You're talking about the present. There's no cycle of life in the future for you. You don't know what it is, not for an interview and interrogation, the common citizen, the common law enforcement. You don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. So the cycle of life is 50-50, like the coin toss, like the interrogation. It's in the moment. It's right there. The traditional methods, evidence-based. Yeah, the evidence base is great, man. But we don't need the evidence right there in front of us if we can get the evidence from you. If you can help us with the evidence. Yeah, dump the old methods, people. Like I said, this is spring break. I did this just to do this. 2 of my investigators said, hey, man, do something fast on interrogation. Now, to close this out, when good training actually happens, okay, rare, but beautiful, or sometimes but not beautiful, researchers still have a hard time finding it. Why? Because it's not being reported. It's not open circuit out there. It's closed, entity closed, meaning department closed. Now, is that a good thing? 50-50. Yeah, that means it's a good thing because agencies are catching up. Agencies are realizing the faults in the practitioner toolkits, the lack of sociological function and psychology in the interrogation. And don't BS yourselves with officers that say, yeah, man, we use psychology and reverse psychology and it's psychology. Yeah, just shut up. Where's your background, your education in sociology or psychology? The only thing you have is barely minimum law enforcement. So they're lying to you. So when the training is, rare, beautiful, and not beautiful, still a good thing. But it should be kept in-house. It shouldn't be circulated to the public, so to say. And that's a good thing that researchers are having a hard time finding the rare, beautiful training. That is a positive thing. Period. Very positive. Let me see. I want to make sure there's nothing like face punching that I don't want to leave out for you today, since it is, let me say it again, spring break, baby. Yep. The pressure. I'll tell you what, we'll close out with this. When you're getting answers from someone trying to get the truth, ask yourself, what is the core idea? The core idea. What do you really want? Do you want the truth? Do you want a confession? You want an apology? You want to find out more information about what happened? Do you want somebody to mislead you? What's the core idea here? What do you want? What are you going to be able to do after? Law enforcement can arrest. Law enforcement can slap those charges. What are you going to do? You hurt my feelings. I'm not your friend anymore. I'm going to unfriend you on Facebook. What's the core idea here? How much do you really want and why? What's the direction? What's the outcome for you? Trauma, pain, emotion? What's your core idea? Trust is more valuable than pressure. Remember that. Now, when sources, suspects, or even your friends or families trust you, they talk more. Yes, they do. They talk more. How do you build trust as a Leo? What, bring a king dong, a Twinkie bar, a sandwich when they're hungry? Think about this. Law enforcement already has the stigma, and there are 2 stigmas. Overbearing and fit or fat. Overbearing, accelerationism, or just sloppy, Society is a 50-50 coin toss. Society has been eviscerated from law enforcement. Talking to someone and getting information without the pressure is easy when someone trusts you. It's just the way it is. So if you're out there as the investigator, the big highfalutin detective, you don't need to show it off. You don't need to flandango it. Society already knows. It's kind of like the alpha dog. All law enforcement want to be the alpha dog. But the Sigma detective, Sigma detective doesn't need any of those alpha cops. Because society trusts the Sigma detective. That Sigma detective stays in the Sigma lane. That's a cool topic for another show, isn't it? Have a great day.